Good morning, writer people. Happy to see you all here. If you're watching this live or watching this after the fact, thank you for tuning in. It's another bright day today, which means my mood is generally going to be in a better place. I don't know. I guess my mood tends to fluctuate a lot depending on the weather. Like, I feed off a lot. I feed really well on like sunny days and things. So I guess anytime that there's a sunny day, I'm just in a better mood than usual. I apologize again if you hear construction noises outside. They are still doing construction. I think it's going to be going on for like the next couple months even. So yeah, that'll be fun. And also, you're going to hear me sniffling a lot. No, it's not because I'm sick. It's just like my nose has been really dry lately, and so I think it's trying to like produce more mucus to like hydrate itself. I have allergies, especially around the springtime. So, and like, yeah, it's rough. I don't necessarily get like congestion or anything, but I get really dry skin. Like, I get eczema patches basically anywhere on my body. Like, anywhere is free game for eczema, which sucks. I actually have a couple, like, my lips actually have some eczema patches on them right now, which is really annoying. Because, like, anytime that I, like, lick my lips or, like, I even just rub my lips together, like, I can feel the eczema patches. They're just, like, all up here. And it's really hard because I can't put my usual steroid cream on it, because my usual steroid cream, you're not supposed to ingest it. Like, it's not meant to be close to the mouth region. So I've just been trying to put, like, Vaseline and other kind of, like, ways to hydrate it, but I don't know. It hasn't been very successful so far. They're just still constantly, like, dry and like, not even dry in, like, a chapped lip kind of way, just, like, it's rough and almost feels kind of callousy. Like, that's kind of how eczema is. Anyways, today I'm going to jump over to our big monitor and pull up our screen quick, because I was doing some writing when, like, off stream. And yeah, it's pretty exciting. I actually really like where their story is going now. So, I don't know. I have a good idea of where the story is. So, between yesterday and today, what I ended up doing was I finished this little chapter of kind of like their 8th grade time, and that's where the story starts. And now I'm actually, there's a time jump between kind of like the chapter 1 and the chapter 2. I don't know if this first kind of chunk is going to be chapter 1 or if it's going to be a prelude. Usually preludes, you don't count that as a chapter. It's just kind of like its own thing altogether. But this one that I'm working on right now is like the official first chapter of the story. Like, this is where things actually start happening in the main plot and the main storyline. I did the same thing I did before, so like I have some general notes about what I wanted to happen. Up here is not so much notes. It's just kind of my, like, me talking to myself, being like, how do I want to start this? And then down here are actually notes of like how I am potentially going to start it. So, so the way that this ends is that it ends with Jackson and Brian sitting at the park and talking, and, you know, they're just kind of going like back and forth, whatever. It's like everything's fine, everything's Gucci. I guess, like, so Jackson is being very cryptic all throughout this conversation. And it was my goal as a writer to try to make sure that that kind of cryptic message comes through. And just like that feeling that, like, Jackson has something that he wants to say but can't say it. And again, the thing that Jackson wants to say but can't say has to do around, like, revolves around his gender and sexuality expression. And the reason why he wants to tell Brian is because he and Brian have been, like, best friends forever and ever, like, from when they were very young. So, like, Brian is a trusted person for Jackson. However, Brian also comes from a very religious family, and so that definitely complicates things. Jackson also goes to church, but, like, you know, he doesn't have a strong, his religious conviction isn't as strong as Brian's. Okay. So that's how that ends. And one of the things that I did want to end with is this like line right here. So it's like Jackson says, "You really don't have to stay out here with me. You know, it's not like I'm in danger of getting mugged or attacked." And then Brian says, "Not what I'm afraid of, but okay, just 5 more minutes." And then Jackson says, "Okay." And then Brian ends with, "I don't check my phone for the time, but I'm pretty sure more than 5 minutes passes." So this very like small kind of interaction that I threw in right at the end is like, I wanted to use it kind of as like a subtle foreshadowing to what's to come in the future, because obviously once Jackson does fully come out, Brian's gonna have a hard time with it, because, you know, Brian grew up thinking that LGBTQ plus identities are like wrong and are a sin, so Brian's gonna have a tough time with it. But also at the end of the day, Brian is still going to accept Jackson and still going to love Jackson like unconditionally, because, you know, they're really good friends and might even be romantical. I don't know yet, but we will see. That will be the mystery for me to find out later once the story plays out a little bit more. Also, this whole thing about like in danger of getting mugged or attacked, that's also like, this is going to come up in the future as well, because this is actually going to be one of Brian's excuses for why Jackson is like, quote, living a dangerous life. Is just like, Brian is going to say something along the lines of like, well, if you're living like this, like, what if you get attacked? Like, people like this get attacked all the time. People like this, referring to LGBTQ folk. And then Jackson kind of responds with the, "That's not what I'm afraid of, but okay." So then there's going to be like kind of like a flipperoo happening in the future of the story, or in the later part of the story. Oh my gosh, my nose is so runny right now. I'm going to be right back. I have to go blow my nose. This is like, it's too unbearable. I'm just going to turn the music up and then I'll be right back. Be like TMI, but like in the springtime I tend to have these like continual bloody noses in the morning, and so because of that there's just like always kind of just like residual like scab in my nose all spring, because I sometimes have bloody noses in the morning. And that's not because like, it's not because I got punched, it's not because of whatever, it's just like allergies. It's just really dry and chapped up there. Anyways, let's continue on with this. So in this scene in this kind of first chapter that's happening, Brian is just getting back from South Dakota, where he was on a mission trip. The first mission trip of his life, actually. And, you know, it ends up being a pretty transformative experience for him. Like, he comes back with a good sense of what kind of person he wants to be in the world. And I think that's true of a lot of people who go on, you know, volunteer service trips, which is like a good thing. That's one of the good things about kind of like volunteer service trips, is that hopefully you focus on transforming yourself and not just, you know, going out there and doing random labor for a community. But so Brian comes back kind of a different person, and over the summer Jackson stays in Madison and works at a like kind of like a summer school type thing, a summer school program. And it's like a drama summer school program. Jackson is like in the theater world and theater program and stuff in this story. And so that's what Jackson does over the summer. So once Brian gets back, like Brian, of course, wants to go check in with his friends, Jackson and Ellie. Ellie and Jackson actually do end up spending some time together over the summer because Ellie has younger siblings, and so Ellie actually enrolls her younger siblings in the drama summer school program, just so that way they have something to do over the summer and they're not just sitting around the entire time. Ellie actually spends most of the summer like basically raising her siblings because her parents are very dysfunctional. That's kind of one of the struggles that she has to kind of play with, is like this idea of wanting to be independent from her family and like wanting to live her own life and have her own like goals and things, but also at the same time knowing that she is the oldest child of the family, and also knowing that her parents are like highly dysfunctional. Like they just are not compatible with each other. They fight a lot, but at the same time they have 3 kids that have to be raised. So, also over the summer, what Brian doesn't know is that Jackson actually does officially come out over the summer. Not in like a big sense, like he doesn't just like go to the top of a building and like, you know, shout that he's gay. That's not what happens. But Jackson does, like, Jackson comes out to Ellie, and so now like Jackson and Ellie have this like closeness where it's like, oh, we know this secret, and like we don't know if we should tell Brian or not. So that's where the main tension is going to come from at the beginning of the story, is just that Brian is going to feel like Jackson and Ellie have developed this whole new friendship over the summer while Brian was gone, and he has a hard time dealing with that. That's kind of one of the big struggles at the beginning of the story. So this chapter that I'm working on, like, so I just started writing out the first kind of scene of what's happening when Brian comes back home. So it's just him kind of like, you know, coming back to regular life. And I guess I can read through it just so that way I can spot, like I wrote some of this last night, so I can just check to see if it sounds right and if it's what I want. Any of you writers out there, one of the best ways to see if something is how you want it to sound is actually just to read it out loud. This is something that I do for myself, like both with essay writing and also for creative writing. And because this story is a coming of age story, I really want it to sound like it is someone's inner monologue, or it's so like there are going to be chunks of it that are definitely not grammatical. There are going to be chunks of it that are, I don't know, like going into excruciating detail about random little things, because I think that's kind of how our inner monologue works. So home never feels the same when you've left for a long time. Even the smallest changes make you feel like you're in an entirely new world. Ooh, I actually want to change this to a stranger. Even the smallest changes make you feel like a stranger in an entirely new world. That must be what goldfish feel like, though what's sad about their memory span isn't true. They can have fast memory spans, but if they're not intellectually challenged, they don't get smarter. My room hasn't changed in the 3 months I've been gone. Everything's still where I left it. My desk at least isn't dusty though, because Mom probably came in to clean when I was gone. I don't think I need to say when I was gone, because we already know he was gone. Laying at the foot of my bed, my luggage won't unpack itself, but I'm preoccupied on my laptop. Scrolling through an endless stream of Facebook pictures, videos, and posts from all of my friends. It makes me a bit anxious to think about everything I missed. I have things to update too on Facebook, plenty of pictures. One of the other girls on the mission trip had an iPhone, so she was constantly posting and had friend requested us all before we even left South Dakota. In less than 12 hours after leaving, she's already thoughtfully composed a freaking essay about the experience. I don't even like writing for school. My screen stops at one of Ellie's posts. Little siblings love drama camp this year with their new favorite teacher, Jackson, it says, followed by a picture of 2 bright-eyed kids standing next to Jackson, who's wearing a purple Expressions 2011 shirt. Right, that's what Jackson did. He was working at the drama camp Mr. Michael holds every summer. Curiosity pulls my cursor over Jackson's name. A simple tap pulls me to... Ooh, I just used the verb pulls twice. Directs. Also, it's not a tap, it's a click. Jackson Book Club directs me to Jackson's page. He doesn't post much. The summer seems to be no different. He's still tagged in a lot though. A lot of those random Facebook tag challenges like, you're in a zombie apocalypse, tag 10 people you'd want to be trapped at a Walmart with. Jackson's profile picture is almost a year old. It's a picture of us at the Asian Club Thanksgiving potluck. Ellie said she wanted some nice pictures to document the event. I should have expected she posted on Facebook. I was mostly surprised when Jackson made it his profile picture though, even if he cropped the picture mostly around himself. I think I have to specify that it's them two. Me and him. There. It's a picture of me and him. Alright. So that's what I've got so far. Eventually what this scene is going to lead up to is that Ryan eventually has to make the decision to go see Jackson at the laundromat. Because again, Jackson works at a laundromat, or his mom owns the laundromat, and that's where their income comes from. Yeah. So I guess that's what I write about. Ooh, we've got some Megalovania. I'm gonna check my email really quick, because there's some stuff in here that I might need to respond to. Oh, I have an email to respond to quick. It's from a student. Alright, I'm back to writing. Okay. I'll have to figure out a way to like better seamlessly use Hmong throughout this story because I mean these characters are Hmong, so they do throw around a lot of like Hmonglish back and forth as a lot of like young Hmong Americans do. Like me with my siblings or my cousins, like we definitely throw a lot of Hmonglish back and forth at each other. I mean, when we talk to each other, we obviously don't have to translate things because we understand it, but for a reader who doesn't speak Hmong, they're not gonna know what like this word means. I don't know. I'll have to figure that out. Like, I'll just leave it in parentheses for now, but I think eventually I will have to just have a better system of how to do that. I know some books I've read in the past have actually just straight up had like a glossary, almost like a translation dictionary in the back of the book, but I don't think I want to do that. I would rather just like work it into the story somehow, so that way the reader doesn't have to keep like looking back and forth. And like eventually, once the reader sees this word enough times, they'll just recognize it as like they'll just recognize it for what it means. Oh, I know what I'll do with this. I don't know how I feel about this line. I feel like it's a little bit too... I think it's too direct. Like... It's so, like... So when you have words like I feel in your writing, especially when it comes to creative writing, these are often what's known as like filter words. Other examples of filter words could be like I think, I see, I smell, I touch... Well, I don't know. Touch is probably not one. But basically when, like, you have... So when you have, like, these sensations in your story, and you describe it as, like, I smell a delicious turkey. Like, you know, this is a really basic way to say that, to say I smell a delicious turkey, or to, you know, even just have a comment about how the turkey smells. So one way that you could actually get around this a lot better is by actually just describing the turkey versus saying that I smell a delicious turkey. And, you know, so I could say something along the lines of, like, the roasted turkey across the kitchen called my name with its aroma. So you see right there, that's like you get so much more rich, vivid detail right there than just saying, I smell a delicious turkey. Like, both of these sentences are essentially saying the same thing. They're both just kind of a comment about how good the turkey must smell. But this sentence just feels so much more rich and so much more robust, and like you get that personification, like a roasted turkey calling your name. Like, that's obviously not a real thing. Like, a roasted turkey can't call your name, but that kind of personification helps to add, like, life to your story. And oftentimes this is what readers crave when they are reading, like, creative works. So for those reasons, I just don't know if saying I feel bad that I never followed up. I just don't know if that's, like, the strongest way that I could say that. I think that there definitely is a stronger way that I could say that. I mean, maybe I don't say anything at all. Maybe I just leave it at that text was sent in July. Because, you know, if they are really good friends and they haven't texted since July, like, I think that says something. I think the reader will figure out, like, oh, so they haven't talked in a really long time, and so this is going to be kind of awkward once they talk again. Huh. I'm going to keep it at that. I'm just going to say that text was sent in July. Yeah, I'm just gonna keep it like that. Boom. When in doubt with your writing, write less. So I'm trying to think now, what do I want to have Brian do next? Like, do I have Brian try to text Jackson? Or do I just have Brian show up at the laundromat? I kind of want Brian just to show up at the laundromat and make it like a surprise. I think I just have Brian show up. You know what, though? He's gonna start writing the text, and then he's gonna decide just to show up. Ooh, I like that I have this kind of like internal dialogue back and forth now as Brian is trying to figure out the right message to send to Jackson. Quite impressed with myself. Quite impressed. I mean, I'm probably gonna come back to this and like make it better eventually, but quite impressed for a first draft of this so far. I spelled oscillates wrong.
is it, bro? Something tickled your funny bone?
Oh, spare me the puns. We have a massive issue at hand here.
What do you mean?
This theme song. Don't you think someone as prestigious aside, the great Papyrus should have a theme song that has a little more, you know, punch to it? I need more brass, more percussion, and most important of all, more marimba.
Oh, okay, bro. I'll see what I can do.
Ooh, okay. I like the evolution of this little message right here now. And I love this kind of characterization I'm adding with this comparison to punctuation marks. He asked what he would be, and then he ends up choosing the period. Oh! And this is gonna matter so much in the story because, oh my god. I'm freaking out right now because I just created another really good, like, foreshadowing kind of, like, decision thing for him. Because if he, okay, so if he knows that, or in his opinion, if Jackson were a punctuation mark, he'd be an exclamation point. And he's trying to choose between the period and the exclamation point, and he ends up choosing the period. Oh! And then later in the story, what could happen is he ends up choosing the exclamation point or exclamation point because he does end up choosing, like, to remain friends with Jackson despite all of, like, despite, like, having a religion that says he shouldn't be friends with Jackson. Oh my gosh! I can't right now. Is there a way for me to, like, leave little notes for myself? Because I really don't want to forget this.
Nah.
Okay. There's really no way for me just to, like, add a random note to, like, or, like, a little comment to this? Huh. I for sure thought that this would be... Oh my gosh, I have a folder just called Where Old Scenes Go to Die. Okay, not that, because that would just move it to a different folder. Would it be Scrivener link? No. No, because that'll just link a different text file over here. New link? Alright, I'm gonna consult the Googles. Wait, there is a way. Okay, the internet is telling me right now. Okay, I have to find the little N plus, or the little N star icon. Where is that? No, I don't want this. No split. Oh! Oh! This is juicy! Okay. 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 I think this is... Oh, yes. This is the footnotes and comments right here. Plus... Oh, oh yes. Okay. Alright. Oh, this is good. Okay. Ooh, okay. I'm proud of myself. Yes, and then when I click on it, it takes me to the note. Oh, this is so handy. Now I can like leave notes for myself everywhere. Now I just want to go back and like leave notes on everything that I was writing. Because there's a lot of stuff in here that I do want to like potentially come back to later. Oh, this is dangerous. Like this, being able to leave little comments and notes like this, I'm gonna go crazy with this. I'm just gonna like go through all the old writing and just leave a million comments. Ah! Do I keep writing or do I just go back through and do little comments so I don't forget things? I almost feel like I go back and I leave the comments. Because there is a lot of important stuff that is going to be referenced in the future part of this story. So, okay. I guess I can go back through for like the main important stuff. Oh, I just got a text. Oh, who did I just get emails from? Oh, notes. Alright, sorry stream. I'm just reading through some emails right now that I just got from school. Which, I mean, I guess technically it's a priority since, you know, that's my job. Oh. Okay, emails are done. Oh. There's just some, okay, you know, I think I am going to go back and leave some comments in some of these parts because there are, like, some of this really is going to come back in a very major way eventually, and I just want to know, like, exactly where it is and have easy access to finding it. Is there a shortcut for this? I wish there was just a way, like, I wonder if there is a shortcut for this. Where are my settings? Options? Shift F4. So if I do Shift, oh no. Oh my gosh.